Nigerians accuse France of creating Boko Harram and want them out of their country. Nigeria, often called the Giant of Africa. This name comes from the vastness of its land, the diversity of its peoples and languages, its huge population, the largest in Africa, and its oil and other natural resources. Is a country located in West Africa, bordered by Benin to the west, Niger to the north, Chad to the northeast, and Cameroon to the east. It is the most populous country in Africa and the seventh most populous in the world, with over 200 million people. Nigeria is known for its cultural diversity, with over 250 ethnic groups and a rich history. The major ethnic groups include the Hausa-Fulani, Yoruba, and Igbo, each with their own distinct languages, traditions, and customs, with English being the official language, and serves as a lingua franca for communication among different ethnic groups. The country has a mixed economy, with significant contributions from sectors such as oil and gas, agriculture, telecommunications, and services. Nigeria is one of the largest oil producers in Africa and relies heavily on oil exports for revenue. However, the economy is also diversified with a growing focus on sectors like technology and entertainment. Nigeria has faced various challenges, including political instability, corruption, poverty, and inequality. Additionally, it has experienced security issues due to the activities of extremist groups like Boko Harram in the northeast. The government has been working to address these challenges and promote development through initiatives such as economic reforms, anti-corruption measures, and counter-terrorism efforts. Despite these challenges, Nigeria possesses a vibrant cultural scene, with a thriving music and film industry that has gained international recognition. It is also home to numerous natural attractions like the Olumo Rock in Abeokuta, Yankari National Park in Bauchi State, Ikegosi Warm Springs located in Ekiti State, Erin Ijesha Waterfall in Osun State, and a lot more, wildlife reserves, and diverse ecosystems, which ranges from rainforest to savannas, wetlands, and mangrove. These ecosystems supports a wide variety of plants and animal species, making Nigeria one of the most biodiverse countries in Africa. One of the most significant ecosystems in Nigeria is the Niger Delta region. Nigeria is a patchwork of distinctive regions, including deserts, plains, swamps, mountains, and steeny jungles. It has one of the largest river systems in the world, including the Niger Delta, the third largest delta on Earth. Much of Nigeria is covered with plains and savannas. These tropical grasslands spread out as far as the eye can see and are interrupted here and there by trees and shrubs. The southwestern plains are home to the Yoruba people, who have lived there for thousands of years. Since Nigeria won independence from Britain in 1960, it has suffered through corrupt leaders and occasional military rule. In 1999, the country adopted a new constitution, and the first democratic elections in 20 years were held. Nigeria is the most important country politically and economically in West Africa. It is richer than all other West African nations and holds considerable power. Nigeria's most important export is oil, more than half of which is shipped to the United States. As beautiful as it may seem, Nigeria won't go violence-free as a group. Boko Harram was brought into the picture. Boko Harram formed in 2002 when founder Muhammad Yusuf, a well-known preacher and proselytizer of the Izala sect of Islam in the Maiduguri region of Nigeria, began to radicalize his discourse to reject all secular aspects of Nigerian society. In 2002, Yusuf opened a religious complex with an Islamic school in Maiduguri, which attracted students from poor Muslim families across the country. Yusuf reportedly used the school to convert and recruit future jihadis. Boko Harram expanded into Yobe State, where it set up another base, nicknamed Afghanistan, near the Nigeria-Niger border in 2003. From 2002 to 2003, A group of Yusuf's students formed a community near Kanama, Nigeria, in order to adhere to Yusuf's teachings and live outside secular society. Members of this group, dubbed Al-Sunnah wal Jama, followers of the Prophet's teachings, were the first followers of Yusuf to instigate violence against the Nigerian government. This sect was suppressed by the Nigerian government in 2003. In response, Boko Haram conducted its first attack, occupying a police station and raising the Afghan Taliban flag. Open conflict erupted in July 2009 following a violent clash between Boko Haram members and the police, when militants refused to adhere to a law requiring motorcyclists to wear helmets. This incident incited violent uprisings in Bauchi and quickly spread to Borno, Yobe, and Kano. Nigerian military forces killed over 700 in suppressing the uprisings and capturing Yusuf. Security forces later killed Yusuf, claiming that he had tried to escape. After suffering severe losses in 2009, Boko Haram regrouped in 2010 under the leadership of Abubakar Shekau, Yusuf's second-in-command. The frequency, lethality, and sophistication of Boko Haram's attacks increased dramatically under Shekau, allegedly as a result of increased cooperation with Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, Accuse. To protest the election of Goodluck Jonathan, a Christian from southern Nigeria, Boko Haram carried out a series of bombings during Jonathan's presidential inauguration in May 2011. The escalation of violence continued throughout the year, including an attack on the Abuja UN building in August, Boko Haram's first foreign target. President Jonathan declared a state of emergency in the areas of Yobe, Borno, Plateau, and Niger later that year. Boko Haram became notorious when it kidnapped over 300 young girls from a secular school in Chibok, Nigeria, in April 2014. Just over 50 girls were able to escape immediately after the attack. The Twitter hashtag #BringBackCoolGirls inspired several other campaigns on various social media websites in hopes of pressuring the Nigerian government to do more to recover the girls. In October 2014, the government announced that it had negotiated a ceasefire with Boko Haram and that the schoolgirls would be released shortly. However, within 2 weeks of the announcement, Boko Haram released a video in which Shekau repudiated the ceasefire and claimed that the missing girls had already been converted to Islam and were married to Boko Haram members. The Chibok kidnappings prompted the United States to deploy additional counterterrorism resources to Nigerian law enforcement agencies. As of January 2018, 106 girls had been rescued. The Nigerian government negotiated, and the International Committee of the Red Cross facilitated the release in exchange for Boko Haram militants. The girls rescued were found living as wives and mothers among Boko Haram fighters. On January 15, 2018, Boko Haram released a video featuring kidnapped women and the remaining Chibok girls. Back in January 2015, Boko Haram unleashed a massive assault on the villages of Baga and Doron Baga in Borno State and claimed control over the area. Local officials suggested that as many as 2,000 people were killed in these attacks, but the Nigerian government capped the death toll at 150. A few weeks later, militants tried to attack Maiduguri, Borno's capital city, but government troops prevented the planned takeover. According to the Council on Foreign Relations, by August 2015, more than 16,000 people had been killed and 2.5 million people displaced because of Boko Haram violence. In response to the threat, the African Union, AU, endorsed a military coalition to contain and degrade Boko Haram's activities in Nigeria. They changed the mandate of the Multinational Joint Task Force, MNJTF, to encompass counter-terrorist operations and increased its funding. Chad, Nigeria, Cameroon, Niger, and Benin pledged troops for the 7,500-strong multinational joint task force. The coalition aimed to protect the Nigerian border and the Lake Chad region but not participate in the conflict within Nigeria. The force deployed on March 6, 2015, and the offensive against Boko Haram began with Chadian and Nigerian airstrikes that drove the organization out of a dozen towns in northern Nigeria. As a result of Chadian participation in the NNGTF, Boko Haram began targeting the Chad Basin region, torching homes and kidnapping villagers before being pushed back by the Chadian military. On February 7, 2015, Nigeria's Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, announced that national elections would be postponed for 6 weeks in order for security forces to launch an offensive to regain territory controlled by Boko Haram. Estimates suggested that Boko Haram controlled about 20,000 square miles of territory in northeastern Nigeria. Attacks on civilians continued, including across borders in both Chad and Cameroon. On March 28, the Nigerian election day, Boko Haram killed 41 people in an attempt to keep voters from the polls, but millions still voted. In early March 2015, Boko Haram pledged allegiance to the Islamic State in an audio message posted online, featuring Shiko. Reportedly, Boko Haram militants were traveling to train at IS military camps at that time. When IS accepted the pledge in late March, it referred to Boko Haram as the Islamic State's West Africa province, ISWAP, a name that subsequently appeared on social media accounts linked to IS. IS also encouraged Muslims to join Boko Haram and other West African militant groups. Some analysts argue that the affiliation between Boko Haram and IS was a desperate move by Boko Haram to boost its members' morale, image, and attract local support after the African Union coalition force drove the group into the Sambisa forest. In April 2015, the Nigerian government considered the offensive against Boko Haram to be in its last stages. Boko Haram controlled no towns, and the coalition was closing in on the Sambisa forest. Despite being pushed out of its stronghold, Boko Haram continued operations, often employing suicide bombers to attack civilian, police, and government targets throughout Nigeria. On August 3, 2016, IS announced that Abu Nusab al-Banawi, son of the founder of Boko Haram, would assume leadership. 2 days later, Shiko responded that Banawi's followers were manipulating IS leaders in order to cut him off in a sort of coup, and that he and his followers would not follow Banawi. This dispute reportedly led to splits within Boko Haram. Banawi was arrested in late 2016, but the two factions of Boko Haram remained, one known as ISWAP and the other known as Jazz. The media and government typically treated the two splinters as one group. In late 2016 and early 2017, the number of killings by Boko Haram was significantly reduced, but activity increased again. Between April and September 2017, there were an estimated 400 deaths. The group remained active in northeast Nigeria, using suicide bombers to attack markets, universities, and displacement camps, and raiding villages. Most attacks were credited to Banawi and occurred in Nigeria. For example, the 2017 ambush of an oil exploration team from the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation and the reclaim of territory in Borno. In 2018, the split within Boko Haram persisted. Banawi continued to lead the Islamic State's West Africa province, ISWAP, and Sheko led Jama'atu al-Sunnah lil Dawah wal Jihad, JAS. JAS was stronger, more active, and also more transnational in its operations. Even so, the two groups were ideologically similar, and outside media typically treated them as the same group. France is linked to Nigeria in so many ways, one of them being as trading partners. Nigeria is France's leading trading partner in sub-Saharan Africa, and the fourth largest in Africa, behind Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia. In 2019, trade between the two countries amounted to €4.479 billion. In 2018, Nigeria ranked 28th among suppliers to France in the world, and was France's 60th largest customer. Moreover, with an FDI stock of 9.4 billion euros in 2018, France is one of Nigeria's leading investors. Natural hydrocarbons and other extractive industry exports accounted for 97% of Nigeria's exports to France in 2019. They make up the lion's share of trade, 3.9 billion euros, between the two countries. As of now, there's no evidence that France had a hand in the creation of terrorist group Boko Harram and all chaos created. But nonetheless, Nigeria is doing what they can to oust France from their country. Will they succeed? Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and hit the notification button for more updates on arising matters.